Hi there, it's Bill Gilliland here. It's a little bit after 12:30. I'm running a little bit late today, but we are live here with Facebook. And today we're talking about the second part of finding top talent. Hope you had a great weekend. I watched a little bit of the British Open. I watched a lot of the British Open, actually. I enjoyed watching Colin Morikawa win. There were a lot of business lessons in golf, so I enjoy that. But let's talk about finding you some good talent. So last week, we talked about the first part of finding top talent, and that is the who. So you got to know who you're attracting. Remember, hiring is marketing. Hiring is marketing. Let's just write that up there. Hiring equals marketing. Okay? So hiring equals marketing. So the second part, so we got to know who. You always got to know your target. So that's part one in case you missed last week. I went into how you do that. Now you can go back and look at last week's video, figure it out. This week, we're talking about the second part is what? Like what? Or usually it's where, okay? But in hiring, we got to talk about what, okay? In marketing, it's where. Where are you going to find these people? And that's a good place to go second, but we're going to go there third. So, but before you go out and look for where they might be, you need to figure out a little bit about what it is you want them to do. So there's a lot of you probably have forms that you use for job descriptions or positional descriptions. So I don't care what kind of form you use. A lot of them just have like all the little duties and tasks and everything you want them to do. To me, that is useless. Okay? Now, well, useless might be a strong term. We might go with not as useful or not as useful to the person who you're going to hire. So I believe that there's two things that you need in a positional description. Two things that you need. Number one are outcomes. What are the outcomes that you expect? In other words, what are the goals for the job? What do you want them to do? So if you're hiring someone for sales, do you want X number of sales? Now you may have to, part of the positional description may outline, that they're going to be doing cold calling, they're going to be doing knocking doors, they're going to be developing relationships, whatever it is they're going to be doing. But there's got to be outcomes. If you're hiring a general manager, what is the profit that you want them to provide for your business? If you're hiring an assistant, what are the outcomes that you want to have? And the second part of it is, how are you going to measure them? So what are the measurements that we're going to have as part of that? So we call them KPIs, key performance indicators. How are you going to measure whether or not they've reached the outcomes they have? So it's pretty simple. You can have all the other stuff and all the little things and what time they got to show up and all the little details and sort of the very corporate military stuff. But here's what matters. The outcomes you expect from it and what you're going to measure. So once you get that, then we can talk about where you might find candidates to market to. So a little bit backwards in actual marketing where you might go who, where. But for candidates, we got to know a little bit about the position. What are the outcomes we expect? You wouldn't hire somebody. You wouldn't run a marketing plan without knowing the outcomes you want to have, would you? Well, you might. But if you don't, okay, what I want you to do is talk about the outcomes and then figure out what you want to measure. Okay? That's it. It's pretty simple. So the first two steps in finding top talent, figure out who you want. We went over that last week. And then now figure out what they're going to be doing, which is the outcomes and how you're going to measure them. You're going to be on the path to finding some great top talent if you'll just follow those two steps. And then next week, we'll talk about where you find them. Till then, all the best.